In just a matter of moments, a desperate pursuit sweeps across the sun-baked African plains. It serves as a stark warning that survival on these endless grasslands hangs by a very thin thread. Yet this constant struggle is simply daily life for our tiny hero, the red-billed oxpecker. Also referred to by their scientific name, Buphagus erythrorhynchus, these fascinating creatures call the sub-Saharan savannas home. They have gained widespread fame for their highly peculiar lifestyle of hitching rides on massive grazing animals. While perched up high, they make a living by plucking out ticks and other pests concealed deep inside the animals' coats. Their daily labor goes largely unnoticed by the wider world, yet it never truly stops. Delicate little claws navigate with extreme caution over the sprawling, breathing landscape of these giant beasts. They constantly pivot their heads back and forth, hunting for the next stubborn bug clinging to their host's hide. Every single, calculated strike of their sharp beak represents another hard-earned bite of sustenance. To survive up there, they must swiftly avoid the abrupt swishing of massive, irritated ears. The birds constantly fight to stay upright as their living platforms casually wander through the dense brush. Though it might look like a totally tedious existence to an observer, these modest actions sustain a crucial ecological harmony. The birds secure a steady meal, the massive grazers get relief from annoying pests, and a silent alliance is formed. There are no formal contracts or vows exchanged between them, just a pure, natural state of living side by side. Eventually, a deep-seated urge pushes this feathered duo to take on a much more significant duty in the wild. Deep within the sprawling plains, they single out a weathered crevice inside a towering, ancient acacia tree to settle down. They aren't looking to build an architectural wonder or a complex structure. A basic, natural hole suits them perfectly. Despite its humble appearance, this ordinary wooden sanctuary is the exact spot where their legacy will take root. Working tirelessly, they meticulously transport individual blades of dry vegetation back to their newly claimed sanctuary. Every piece of plush, downy debris is precisely positioned to create a warm, inviting floor for their imminent arrivals. Before long, the shadowy depths of their wooden cavity are brightened by the arrival of a few delicate, miniature orbs. Hidden safely away inside those thin, vulnerable casings, the next generation is slowly developing and growing stronger. The devoted mother refuses to leave her post, continuously warming her clutch and keeping a vigilant watch over her home. Meanwhile, her partner takes on the heavy burden of foraging, scouring the plains endlessly to keep them both fed. Following an extended period of quiet anticipation, those smooth casings finally start to quiver and crack open. A brood of minuscule, incredibly vulnerable hatchlings finally breaks free, drawing their very first breaths of the warm savanna air. Barely possessing any down and completely blind to their surroundings, these fragile newborns await their parents' next move. Lacking the ability to regulate their own temperature, the helpless infants rely entirely on the warmth provided by their diligent parents. Any chance they have to grow up safely is completely placed in the tireless dedication of their mother and father. Beyond the safety of the hollow, the harsh reality of the African plains marches on without pausing for this quiet miracle. Massive herds of buffalo relentlessly continue their migration across the dusty landscape, undisturbed by the hidden nest. Meanwhile, relentless breezes endlessly rustle through the vast oceans of tall grass, painting a picture of familiar tranquility. Lurking in the shadows, ever-watchful hunters bide their time, waiting patiently for a momentary lapse in anyone's defenses. Amidst this dangerous landscape, the red-billed oxpecker duo begins an exhausting cycle of perpetual motion to sustain their growing family. They repeatedly launch themselves into the unforgiving air, scouring the harsh terrain for any available morsels to bring back. Upon returning to the tree, they carefully drop precious bites into gaping mouths that beg endlessly for more nourishment. This grueling routine repeats from sunrise to sunset, an exhausting marathon undertaken without a single moment of hesitation or rest. They are propelled by an ancient, unbreakable instinct, a profound duty to ensure their lineage survives another unpredictable season. As the grueling days turn into weeks, a soft coat of plumage finally starts covering the youngster's previously bare skin. Their tightly shut eyelids slowly part, allowing the curious offspring their very first glimpses of the dim sanctuary around them. With each passing hour, their delicate limbs and fragile wings begin to build the vital strength needed for the future. Ultimately, the inevitable moment dawns for the growing fledglings, signaling it is time to step out of their nursery. Outside the safety of their wooden hollow stretches a vast wilderness, brimming with breathtaking marvels and hidden perils. Their initial attempts at flight are incredibly clumsy, marked by hesitant jumps and uncoordinated flaps. Stumbling frequently, they struggle to maintain their footing as frantic talons clutch wildly at the swaying branches. Waves of deep uncertainty wash over the young birds, making the next leap feel like an insurmountable challenge. Yet, the unforgiving wild has never required flawless execution right from the very beginning. Instead, it simply demands relentless determination and the sheer bravery to jump one more time. Conquering their fears, the fledglings finally thrust themselves outward, embracing the vast and open skies. In doing so, they bid farewell to the cramped sanctuary that protected them throughout their most vulnerable phase. However, departing from their childhood home is far from the final step in reaching true maturity. In reality, their grueling education in survival has only just commenced out in the wide savannah. They must now figure out how to stay balanced atop the shifting spine of a massive, roaming beast. Another crucial test is learning to pinpoint minuscule parasites concealed deep within dense, coarse animal hair. Furthermore, they have to master swift reactions whenever their colossal hosts make abrupt, unpredictable jolts. Inevitably, the learning process is fraught with errors and clumsy missteps. The juvenile bird frequently misjudges its targets, slipping off its host. Yet, every stumble and awkward fall is essentially a profound teaching moment. Nature uses these harsh failures to sharpen their survival instincts. Gradually, each minor triumph builds up their confidence and skill. These tiny victories pave the path toward true self-reliance. Eventually, a crucial turning point arrives when the adolescent Oxpecker completely outgrows its parents' watchful eyes and constant support. Now fully capable, the young bird can secure its own meals and swiftly identify looming threats without any outside assistance. It has grown into the very destiny that awaited it since it was just a fragile embryo inside a decaying acacia trunk. As the intense daytime heat fades, dusk slowly blankets the vast expanse of the East African savannah in a soft hue. The now independent creature flies back to safely perch on the exact same limb that once served as its childhood nursery. It pauses there in quiet reflection, calmly observing the sprawling grasslands as they are illuminated by the fading twilight. The tall grasses seem to softly glow under the magnificent light of the setting sun, creating a breathtaking, tranquil landscape. Far off on the distant horizon, massive herds of buffalo steadily press on with their perpetual migration across the plains. Above them, elongated silhouettes and dark shapes begin to sweep across the darkening canopy of the early evening sky. A gentle evening breeze rustles softly through the highest branches and sprawling crowns of the ancient, towering acacia trees. And firmly clinging to the hides of those wandering behemoths are the tiny, crimson-beaked companions, riding peacefully into the dusk. The fledgling has finally mastered foraging, learned to evade predators, and embraced the exact destiny nature intended for it. This profound purpose was set in motion the very second it lay dormant inside a fragile shell, hidden within a weathered tree. When twilight slowly drapes over the East African plains, our feathered protagonist flies back to the very limb that served as its nursery. Perched quietly, the bird stares out over the vast, shimmering prairie as it reflects the fading brilliance of the dying sun. Watching those massive beasts wander and feeling the familiar rustle of leaves, the bird witnesses its natural world settling into the night. The tireless, crimson-beaked flocks keep up their diligent grooming on the shifting gray hides, undisturbed by the creeping darkness. With this peaceful twilight scene, a single, beautiful chapter of existence gracefully draws to a close. Yet, in this untamed wilderness, absolute finales do not exist. There is merely the perpetual, unbroken chain of survival. When dawn inevitably breaks tomorrow, bathing this primeval landscape in fresh light, the great herds will once again graze through amber meadows. Overhead, watchful raptors will resume their quiet, sweeping glides, scanning the vast terrain below for any sign of movement. Meanwhile, hidden amid twisting horns and swirling pockets of crimson earth, two different birds will spark a brand new adventure. Their upcoming journey may seem insignificant and unfold without fanfare, yet it bursts with an incredible, unyielding spirit. This unassuming narrative remains just as breathtaking and extraordinary as the epic sagas of the savannah's most formidable beasts. Thank you for experiencing this tiny miracle with us. Be sure to subscribe and comment what wildlife story we should uncover next.